So, Kirk, this is what we were chatting about backstage. The strangest thing he's ever eaten was a lightning bug. He thought it was a blueberry. He very seriously told me he has a berry phobia now. This was when he was around 6. And I'm like, so I could introduce you as like a very important speaker because, I'm witty. My intellect is up there. You're welcome. By the way, I met 2 people named Sarah and Heather who are delightful, and we're going to be friends later. Yeah. They're like, if you hear no one else laughing, the 2 voices you'll hear are us. You see? Okay. Anyway, also, one thing that I liked about Kirk is that we were talking, and he works from a position of service. Okay, Heather and Sarah, let's bring it in. I'm regretting saying your name on stage now, but I love you. Okay, so he works from a position of service. He helps people, and I said, that's got to be really difficult. I've considered going into like pure specialty work, but I don't think that I would have the ability to leave my work at work. And he said, yeah, it's really hard because you have to take care of yourself first. And he goes, you got to fill your cup. And he goes, I like to actually help people by giving them from my saucer because my cup is already full. And then I asked him if I could steal that. And then I said, I'm a very polite thief because I'm asking permission first. But I thought that was pretty beautiful. That was a hell of a segue. Also, his guilty pleasure movie is Hitch. Please, big round of applause for Kirk M. Samuels.
When I say the phrase week-long orgasm, you probably say, where do I sign up? Or you might say, ain't nobody got no time for all that. Sounds exhausting. In any case, how I experience that is probably not what you think. This is not about sex. This is an awakening that I had on a beautiful day at Wash Park. The park was crowded, so I decided to take the path that leads all the way around the park. And the more I walked around the path, the smaller my world got. I began to notice details in nature around me and how they related to life. And at one point, I looked up in a tree, and I saw a leaf. And when I saw the leaf dancing in the wind, I thought, wow, the leaf is kind of free to be who it is, but at the same time, it's connected to the source from which it came. And then I looked down and I saw grass. And when I looked at the grass, I saw individual blades of grass, but I thought they are literally grounded in the same place. They're separate, yet they're connected at their roots. And then I looked up and I saw a couple walking, and as I saw the couple walking, I thought, man, it sure would be nice to have someone in my life that I can walk around the lake with. And just then I became the third party to an internal dialogue. My head reached over and grabbed the hand of my heart. And my head said, it's a beautiful day, isn't it? My heart said, yeah, it is a beautiful day. My head said, you look beautiful today. My heart said, you look handsome. My head said, I miss you. And my heart said, I miss you too. My head said, will you forgive me for blaming you for allowing other people to hurt us? My heart said, yeah. And when you forgive me for blaming you for a 30-year addiction to pornography that left us feeling alone and isolated? My head said, yeah. And the two of them began to connect. See, for me, disconnected between my head and my heart is what regret feels like. And the more they walked, what started off as being walking together with one hand together, they started walking two-handedly. And as they moved down that path in the same direction, they began to face each other. And their pace slowed. Their pace slowed continually until eventually at one point my head looked over and said, hey, come here. And they stopped and they turned towards each other and they connected. They felt each other's presence. They felt each other's chakra. They felt each other's need for one another. And then they looked at each other. But they didn't just look at each other, they saw each other. You see, there's a difference between looking and seeing. They saw the value in one another. They saw all of the beautiful curves. They saw all of the jagged edges. They saw all of the perfect imperfections. They saw one another in a way that they hadn't seen each other before. Then my head leaned down, and my head kissed my heart. And then my heart kind of leaned back up, and my heart kissed my head. And right there in public at Wash Park, the two of them began to kiss, and they began to make out with everyone watching. And the more they kissed and made out, the more passionate it got. And the more passionate it got, the stronger my head got. And the more receptive my heart got, until eventually my head entered my heart with love. And my heart embraced and received my head with respect. And the climax was a feeling of completion. I didn't need anyone or anything. I was whole. All of my regret became gratitude. It wasn't just mindset, it was heart set. And that experience lasted a week, and that's when I learned that the most important relationship is the one in the mirror. That's where hope and love and grace and forgiveness all begin. You see, I was looking for everything outside of me, and it was all in me. I was looking for everything around me, and all I had to do was look into me. And when I allow you to see that, well, that's intimacy. Ladies and gentlemen, the connection between the head and the heart is the doorway to true intimacy. And true intimacy is the catalyst to everything that every human being wants to sign up for. Thank you.